So these are a few things that you want to bring to your C&P exam that will be helpful. And I would say keep in mind that the C&P examiner may not specifically ask for these things, but if you have them, it could make it really helpful to show the examiner that you have all your evidence there. So the first thing would be relevant medical records, treatment records. If you have those, you can request them from your doctor's office and show them to the examiner basically as proof of how you've been doing, showing that you are getting treatment for those conditions, that it is severe enough to warrant treatment.
If you have testing, if you've had a recent MRI or recent X-ray, anything like that, you can bring that to the examiner and show them. It may prevent them from having to send you out for other testing, depending on the situation. But any of that you can provide to the examiner may be helpful.
If you have treatment records from service, that can be extremely helpful when you're trying to establish service connection. But you want to make sure to go through whatever records you have at home and bring in what's going to be relevant and important to show to the examiner to prove your case.
Right, because if you show up at the exam with 300 pages of your service medical records or service records, the examiner's probably not going to go through all of those at that moment and determine what is relevant. Also, one point is always make copies. If you're providing anything to an examiner, do not give them your only copy of the documents. Make sure that you keep a copy for yourself.
And know that those records are supposed to be in your C file, but they may not always look at it. They may not review everything, so it would be really helpful for you to point out to them what you feel that they need to know.
So another document that you may want to bring to your examiner the date of your C&P is a current medication list. It should be in your medical records, which your examiner should have. However, for whatever reason, they may not have that with them, and it's just a good idea if you can provide that for them so they'll know exactly what you're being prescribed by your doctors.
So I often tell my veterans before they go into a C&P exam, a few days before, a week before, take notes of every symptom that you feel, that you notice. Ask your relatives, friends, people that live with you to make notes or point out whenever they notice something, and then bring those statements, documents, journals, bring that with you. So one condition that's particularly helpful for is migraines or headaches, because that's really just based on what you experience. So it's really helpful if you keep track of when you have those migraines, how severe they are, how long they last. That is proof to show them that it's not just something vague that you don't really remember. That really helps to show the severity and how often it happens.
Right.
Hypertension is another one where to get a 10% rating, you want to show either that you're on continuous medication or that you want to show the consistently high numbers.
Right.
So keep a log of your blood pressure and those readings, and that will help show the examiner as well.
That's such a good idea because the examination is just a snapshot of one day. And if you can show the examiner the frequency, the consistency of the symptoms over a period of time, it allows them to make a better decision about what's actually going on with you overall rather than just that day.
If you use any assistive devices such as a cane, a walker, you want to make sure to bring those with you to the exam. And sometimes you go to the exam and you're having a good day, but you want to make sure to show the examiner and really explain think of your worst days. Think of what the majority of your days look like. If you need that cane only occasionally, bring it up because, just because it's not that often doesn't mean that it's not valid.
Right.
And also keep in mind that the examiner is watching you from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. I've seen an exam where the examiner wrote that the veteran was able to walk into the room, no problem, and therefore they have no issues. Or, they were able to get up onto the examination bed by themselves, and
Right.
so they don't require an increased rating or anything like that. So, obviously never exaggerate or anything like that, but just be very honest about what the complete picture looks like, not just on that one day, because like you said, that day could be a good day, but that's not the complete picture of the severity of your condition.
Right. And also keep in mind that for a lot of these examinations, you're going to have to walk a ways to get to where the examiner is at. So make sure that you bring whatever it is so that you're comfortable, in getting to the actual examination.
A lot of times veterans do their own research in order to show and prove that their condition should be service connected. So if you have done that research and you have found research articles, bring those with you because the examiner is going to be providing their medical opinion as to whether or not your condition is connected to service. And so if you can help them provide the opinion, honestly, I've seen examiners write down that they went onto WebMD
Right.
and didn't find anything, and so therefore it's not service connected. So if you can help provide that medical literature or research, that's always helpful. You don't have to, a lot of times that's going to be really hard for you to go in and find something. But if you happen to have it and find it, bring it, and that could be helpful.
Yeah, very. You may also want to bring someone with you to your exam, whether it's your spouse, a sibling, a parent, a friend. Just having someone there with you could be helpful, whether it's to help you provide information to the examiner. In a lot of situations, we have veterans and they have difficulty with their memory, difficulty with concentration. It's really beneficial for them to have a spouse or someone that's really close to them that can kind of supplement a little bit of the history that they're giving. I also think it's just really important to have somebody with you at an examination or even a doctor's appointment for that matter, just to help you ask questions, make sure that you're understanding what's going on, because in those situations, sometimes we can get nervous and we kind of forget things. We may not remember exactly what we're told. Having that other person there with you can be very beneficial for you to go back to later and remind you of maybe what the examiner said and what to expect moving forward.